We're live?
Not yet. A second.
Oh, here we go.
Now we're live.
All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another podcast of Girls Gone Global. I am Mary Jane Ferrara, one of your co-hosts today. Today is Vietnam Day, according to our series, April in Asia. So tonight we're going to talk all about Vietnam. So Vietnam is one of those places that takes a little planning. It's a very diverse, fast-moving place. So when you pick your regions, like three different regions, you've got the north, the central, and the south. So it's the north includes Hanoi, Ha Long Bay, and Sapa. Now, for the north, it's best for culture, mountains, and cooler weather. And we all know about Hanoi. It's the old quarter is chaotic but fascinating. So, and Ha Long Bay is iconic, but go for an overnight cruise to avoid the crowds. Now, Central, it's has Hoi An, Da Nang, and Hue. I know I may not be pronouncing these places correctly, so bear with me. Central is a great mix of beaches, history, and food. Hoi An at night has the lanterns everywhere and it is one of the most memorable sites in Southeast Asia. And then we have the South. We have the Ho Chi Minh City, formerly I think it was Saigon. And also we have the Mekong Delta. This is where we have the war history, modern energy, and lush river life. Ho Chi Minh City is more fast paced and more westernized. So if you're short on time, if you have 10 to 14 days, um, it's best not to do all three regions, just pick two. So with that being said, I'm going to hand it over to Jenna.
Hey. Yes, Vietnam is one of those places that is difficult to do in a very short amount of time, um, because there's so much to see and so much to do in all those different regions that we just talked about. So some of the most popular places to visit, especially if you like UNESCO type World Heritage sites, certainly want to make sure that you visit Ha Long Bay. So much to do and see there. If you also head up to Ho Chi Minh City, otherwise known as Saigon, it's a little bit more modern, energetic, but you'll still find some historical landmarks. Hanoi is a little bit older. They have some old quarters, lakes. You'll find traditional culture there. If you're looking for things like citadels and historical monuments, that's going to be in the area of Hue, Hue. And if you really want to go older to like a lantern lit ancient town, which really sounds cool to me, especially if they do like lantern releases in this
That
lit
sounds pretty cool.
lantern lit ancient town,
I
that'd
want
be
to see
awesome.
that.
That's in the place called Hoi An. So those all sound pretty cool. And if you're really into adventure and you want to check out some cave systems, Phang Na has a bunch of cave systems that you can venture through. So it sounds to me like Vietnam has something for everybody. We haven't even talked about the food yet.
Oh, yeah. I love the pho. I love Vietnamese food. Now, like I say, Vietnamese food is the highlight, but approach it strategically, it says here. Tried the pho, say banh mi, and
Mm.
bun cha, where the locals eat. Busy spots equals fresh food. Remember, and that goes for anywhere though. You know, you see a line, you know it's fresh, you know it's going to be a large turnover. If it's quiet, you just want to avoid those places. Um, Street food is generally safe if it's cooked fresh and in front of you. And it says here to avoid ice or raw greens in the very rural areas. So, unless you're commenting about the hygiene there. So,
Mhm. I think
don't
that
want,
Vietnam has floating markets too. I know we talked about that in our last session around
Yes.
Thailand, but I believe Vietnam has several that are pretty cool to see as well.
Yes. Yes, I'm sure it does. Um, cash is king. So Vietnam uses the Vietnamese dong. Lots of zeros, double check your amounts. So be careful with that. And many small business don't take cards. So make sure you have the local currency with you. And ATMs are widely available in the cities, which is good. So let's see what else we got here. And transportation. You always see these things on TV about the transportation. Transportation looks like it's total chaos.
Mm.
So crossing the street, this says here, crossing the street in either Hanoi or Ho Chi Minh City feels impossible. They said just walk slowly and predictably traffic flows around you.
Sounds
I know
like New York.
I now me being from New York, I've been down to the city many times. This seems crazier than New York.
I remember being in New York my first time, and the first thing I thought of was how many people talked about how bad people drive there, and you got to watch it when you step off the curbs to walk across the street. And I found myself a couple of times waiting, looking. But that's good to know about Vietnam too. And I'm sure if they have smaller cars there, they're even quicker.
Oh yeah, I'm sure about
And
that.
lots of them coming in at once, right?
Oh my gosh, like I say, I seen videos and it seems so crazy to me how the travel is, the transportation.
Yeah, for sure. So, it's not that hard to get into Vietnam either. Even with all of these travel changes that have been going on for the last couple of months. Really, for US citizens to get into Vietnam, all you need is your valid US passport. Has to have at least 6 months validity before you are planning to travel. So if you're in like a 4 month, 3 month window, you got to get it renewed before you can go.
Hmm.
And this is funny. They say you should at least have 1 to 2 blank pages for them to be able to use. So if you're full, you might want to get a new one too before you go over there. But we as US citizens are not visa exempt. We do need a visa to get into Vietnam. But the good news is you can get an e-visa, really simple. You just apply online. It's good for 90 days after you apply for it. So plan that accordingly. Takes a couple of days to get it back, um, to get back to you, and it's anywhere from $25 to $50. So not too expensive and really easy and convenient way to do it. If places have an e-visa option, that's really the best way to do it. You can still do it on arrival, but it's not as quick and simple
Hmm.
as doing it online as an e-visa.
And always contact your travel agent for any updates you need on travel
Yes,
alerts.
for sure.
Ah, okay. Now, timing. The timing of your trip. The best time to go. Um, they said the best overall window is March through April, which is about now, or October through November is the best time to go. In the north, they have cooler winters, December through February, and hot summers. Central rainy season can flood areas like Hoi An around September through November. And the south is warm year round. But heavy rains are from May through October.
Mm. Yeah,
So
so
I
once
guess you
again, the best time to travel is what I call the shoulder season.
season. Yeah.
Yeah, and the travel world calls it the shoulder season too, but it's not the summer, it's not the winter, it's not the most popular times, it's not the wet times, but the shoulder seasons.
Okay. Now you were talking about the floating markets.
Mm.
That's in the Mekong Delta. So also that's worth prioritizing this at here.
Yeah,
So
for
make sure you
sure.
see those markets. Now the Mekong Delta, they also is very that area is very lush. They have a lot of boat trips around there in the area that you might want to check out. Um, and you can get tailor-made clothes in Hoi An and an overnight cruise in Ha Long Bay or a quiet alternative is Bai Tu Long Bay.
Mhm.
So you can take a overnight cruise, which is nice.
Mhm.
And the motorbike loop with guide if inexperienced in northern Vietnam.
All of that sounds really cool.
Yeah.
So here's
It,
something that's really interesting too. You know how we were talking about those markets that are on the water, right? And
yeah.
we talked about it in Thailand and they're on these boats, right? The long boats. So Vietnam has other things that are on the water too. There's like homes on the water, there's shops on the water, there's schools on the water.
Schools?
Schools, yes. And you'll see almost all of the locals traveling almost entirely by boat in particular regions. And I thought that was really strange living here in the United
Yes.
States. But then
Yes.
again, they are a country that's surrounded by water.
By water.
So,
Yeah.
to build your homes and shops and schools along canals on the water, hey,
It sounds like a place worth visiting.
for sure. And remember, last time we talked about Thailand, and they're right next door to each other. So you might as well
Yes.
just take the time and do both.
Why not?
Then you don't have to go back.
Prioritize what you want to see
Yes.
because you could take an awfully long time off of work. Yeah, I'll take a couple months off.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But just remember, small things do make a difference,
Mhm.
especially when traveling. So bring light, breathable clothing plus one layer for the cooler months up north. Um, you said download offline maps such as Google Maps work well. Also, carry tissues and hand sanitizer because the public bathrooms may vary in what they carry.
Mhm.
So,
So
all
one of the
right.
top places on my list when I was looking at going to Vietnam was certainly Ha Long Bay for many, many, many reasons.
Mm,
But one of the cool things that you can see there that's very rare are what they consider to be little islets or islands. There's like
mm-hmm.
1,600 of them.
60.
And they're,
Wow.
yeah, and they're all covered in like this lush greenery. And in some places they say it even feels more like a fantasy movie. With these, and they look more like towering limestone, um, pieces or islands dramatically rising from the sea, which is one of the reasons why they've called it a UNESCO World Heritage Site because of its
Right.
natural beauty and geological significance. But you don't get that in other parts of the world. So certainly Ha Long Bay is a must see when visiting Vietnam. Kind of like the Phi Phi Islands is a must see when you're
I
visiting Thailand.
know.
Just
I
do it
know.
all.
That's it. Do it all. That's, you know, I did get some pictures. Let me see if I can go and get them up and share my screen here. Okay, let's see. I'll share my screen. Let's see if I can get it up here. Here we go. Okay, let's go back to the top here. Oh, let's sign back in here. Oh, now I have to verify it's me. Oh, well, maybe not. My password. Okay, let's see if I can get back in here. I think so. This is live here. Oh wait. So it's
This,
too
yeah,
long.
this one's the
Yep, I know. I
podcast.
remember now.
Yeah.
And get those pictures up again. Okay. Da, 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 da. Ah, here we go. This is the Mekong Delta. Let's go back up here because I got some really nice ones here. Okay. Golden's
Yes.
Bridge.
That
Isn't that
is
cool?
that is certainly one of the most iconic places to visit in Vietnam. And you hear people talk about this in different types of spaces, but that is certainly a site worth seeing.
Oh, most definitely. And here's some interesting facts about it. Where is it? It is located in the mountains above Da Nang.
Mm.
It's inside the Ban Na Hills Resort Complex. And what makes it so special? The design looked like giant hands lifting the bridge out of the mountain.
Mhm.
And it gives you incredible views, as you can see, of the forest and the clouds. As you see, it's very misty out there, and even
Mhm.
more like very dreamlike. Okay, how do we get there? Usually take a cable car from the base, one of the longest in the world, and it takes about 45 minutes to 1 hour from Da Nang by car. Best time to visit? Early morning, before 9 a.m., fewer crowds and softer light. So any photographers out there, that's the time to go. And late afternoon, good lighting, more crowded. Avoid midday. It gets packed with tour groups. So that is good to know. Important tips. It's part of a theme park area, not a standalone bridge. That I did not know. Entry requires a Ban Na Hills ticket, includes the cable car. Can get crowded quickly, so timing matters more than anything. So make sure you get those morning tickets to get out there. And the weather can change very quickly. Fog can completely hide the view. You know about fog, don't you, where you live?
No, for sure. San Francisco Bay Area's got it all over.
I remember when I visited San Francisco, we're getting on the little ferry boat to go
Mm.
underneath the Golden Gate.
Mhm.
Beautiful, sunny. By the time we got to the Golden Gate, it was foggy and cold. And then on the way back, we got back to the dock. It was clear, sunny, and warm.
Right. It happens a lot.
Okay. Now, is this worth it? Yes. If you like unique architecture and photography, yeah, that's for me. Maybe less so if you dislike crowds or theme park environments. So that is Golden's Bridge.
It's really cool.
Next we have Sapa. Sapa is one of Vietnam's most stunning regions. Think terraced rice fields cascading down mountains, misty valleys, and small ethnic minority villages. Now that feels completely different than what you've seen from the big cities like Hanoi. Why people go? Dramatic rice terraces, especially in harvest season. Trekking through villages like Cat Cat Village and Ta Van Village. Culture experiences with Hmong Dao and other minority groups. Now they have the cooler mountain climate, a break from Vietnam's heat. Look how beautiful that is and so green and
Mm.
lush.
Yes, for sure.
So the best things to do, though, I want to go back. The best things to do is trekking, of course. Half day to multi day treks through the valleys and villages. You can go with a local guide, which is recommended. Plus, you get homestays, which give a much richer experience than day trips. And of course, you can ride the cable car to Fennispan, known as the roof of Indochina. Cable car makes it accessible without hardcore hiking. Expect epic views if the clouds cooperate. Again, it looks like it's can get very foggy very quickly.
Sometimes when you
and-
least expect it.
Yeah. Explore Sapa town briefly, based for trekking, but not quite touristy. It's good for food, cafes, and logistics, not the main attraction. Again, the best time to visit will be March through May. Green landscapes and good weather. September through October, golden rice harvest, most beautiful, they say. And winter is December, February, cold, foggy, sometimes even frost. That might be pretty nice, though.
Frost, huh?
Yeah.
Mm.
Cool, crisp, but everything's like sort of white and frosty. Avoid peak rainy season, June through August, if you don't like muddy tracks. So that is Sapa. So let's go to the next one here.
Lots of greenery.
Yes. Okay. Next is from Hanoi. Let's see what do we got next one here. Hanoi Ha Long Bay. Wasn't that pretty?
For sure.
See, it looks like you take their cruises there.
Yeah. I know you were talking about that a little bit ago.
Yeah. So you can take overnight train from Hanoi, overnight train plus bus for the classic experience. You can do the sleeper bus, it's cheaper and direct, or you can do the private car, which is fastest and most comfortable. The travel time is 5 to 7 hours from Hanoi. Weather, again, unpredictable. Again, the fog can block out views entirely. There's a lot of fog, it seems like.
Yeah, right.
Some areas feel over touristed, especially near town. Trekking can be slippery. Bring proper shoes. So you may encounter persistent street vendors. So just be polite but firm. I mean, you get that in most tourist sections, though.
Of course. Yeah.
I know, when I was in Cabos for the convention last year, a lot of street vendors.
Hmm.
So I
Yeah.
guess anywhere you go.
In parts of Europe, you see them too.
Oh, yeah. I remember when I went to
Mhm.
Italy, there was a lot of them. Pro tips for a better experience. Stay outside Sapa Town. 10 van area is much nicer. Do a one-night homestay trek instead of just a day trip. Start treks early to avoid crowds and bring layers. It can get surprisingly cold. I guess, when you're hiking up, the mountains.
The higher you get, the colder it could get.
Mm-hmm.
And especially if it's foggy and drizzly, it's even colder.
Yeah. And is it worth it? Yes. If you love nature, hiking, and unique landscapes.
Mhm.
That's ideal if your trip is short or you prefer beaches and cities. All right.
It's funny, they're
Yeah.
saying, somebody was saying here that overnight cruises in the bay offer a much better experience than a quick day trip. So that'd be really cool to do too.
Yeah.
Looks like you can see more if you go do that.
Okay. This is here's as you can see right here, How Long Bay. You can see cruise ship, small little cruise ships, small
Mhm.
little ships.
Yeah, and so that picture shows what those little island or islets look like that they were
Right.
that look like they just came up out of nowhere with limestone underneath and the greenery on top.
That is really pretty though.
Hmm.
All right. Ah, city folks. We got Ho Chi Minh City here. So you want to take it from here, Ho Chi Minh City?
Sure. So for those of you who like the city and the skyscrapers and a more international vibe with constant motion and lots of things to do, and motorbikes pretty much everywhere, then Ho Chi Minh is the place to be. It is Vietnam's largest and most energetic city. Um, it's modern, fast paced, and certainly more business driven, as you can tell by some of those high rises there in the town. The food scene here is really a foodie's paradise. So they have all kinds of street food and modern restaurants. If you like the banh mi's, they have those sandwiches pretty much everywhere. Uh, this is also a place for nightlife. So if you're into dancing at clubs and or hanging out at just cocktail bars, they've got rooftop bars with skyline views. And then they have some trendy cafes and different cocktail spots that you can enjoy. And if you're there if you're there because you're like backpacking, they even have spots for backpackers to get together throughout the city. So those are some pretty cool things to keep in mind. Some top places to visit. War Remnants Museum. That takes you through a powerful and sometimes intense look at the Vietnam War. You can also visit the Notre Dame Cathedral Basilica of Saigon. It's a French colonial landmark right in the middle of the city center. Here we go with the markets again, right? They have the Ben Thanh Market.
I
But
love
this
markets.
one's, yeah, this one's on the street. It's not in the canal.
water.
You don't need to get ready for this one. You can just walk. But that's great for street food, souvenirs, and local shopping. And then they have an underground network of tunnels that was used during the war that you can go check out called the Cu Chi Tunnels. That sounds like that would be pretty cool as well
Yeah.
to check out some of their history. So again, like we've been saying, the best time to visit the dry season, December to April, is the best time to go. If you go through May to November, you're looking at some rain, maybe even short, heavy showers. And if you're like me and you like the best of all of it, then you just, spend a little bit more time in country and you go to one place, then you go to the other place and you go to the other place, then you can say that you saw the city and you saw the bay and you saw the other places.
All right. I think this is my last slide I have. Mekong Delta. Can I have you take this one too?
So the Mekong Delta, also known as Vietnam's Rice Bowl. I think that's pretty funny that they call it that. So here you're going to find a vast network of rivers and swamps, islands in southern Vietnam, where the life pretty much all revolves around water. It is one of the most unique cultural landscapes in Southeast Asia. And some of the things that make it special are what we talked about earlier, the floating markets. The most famous one is the Chai Rang floating market. We also talked a little bit about how they build stuff on the water, such as homes, shops, and schools. You'll find that here in the Mekong Delta. You'll also find endless rice fields, coconut groves, tropical fruit farms, all kinds of lush landscapes. How do you get there? It's about 2 to 4 hours from Ho Chi Minh. You can do it by a guided tour, bus, rent a car, and drive yourself. Things to do while you're there, take a boat tour. Get on one of those boats like they're doing there through the narrow canal. Visit the floating markets early in the morning. Try some fresh tropical fruits like dragon fruit, mango. Bike through some rural villages. Get to see what it's like on the not so populated city side. And of course, visit some local workshops. around coconut candy and rice paper. That'd be pretty fun to go see. Some key places to explore. Cantho is the main hub. It's closest to the biggest floating markets. Bentray is famous for their coconut products and quieter canals. And Maito, popular for day trips from the city. So certainly the Mekong Delta looks like the place to check out if you want to see some of the not so city-like way of life in Vietnam.
Wow, this looks like Vietnam has a lot of places to go. From the city to the mountains to the rice fields. So what do you think you would visit first?
I would probably start at one end and go to the other. So, like if I think I mapped this out once because we were going to go. So I would start in, actually, I would start in Thailand, but we're talking
If you
about
just had to
Vietnam.
start in Vietnam.
Yeah, so if I was to start in Vietnam, I would start off in Hanoi.
Uh-huh.
And then I would make my way down the coast and I would end up in Da Nang where we could see uh, the golden,
The bridge.
yes, the Golden Bridge. And then after Da Nang, keep going down, Ho Chi Minh, and then even go further down into the Canto, the region we were just talking about. And make sure to hit all of the things that we just talked about. But I would certainly do, it's a long country, but it's a
Yeah.
narrow country. But I would certainly do all of it.
Yeah. Definitely the Golden Bridge. I mean, that to me, that's fascinating. The
Mhm.
architecture and just having I think that is so cool. Definitely I would like to visit that. And of course the rice fields.
Mhm. Yeah.
And that is just gorgeous. I guess I would have to say everything.
Yeah. You just got to
You
make
know,
time to do it all. And I believe that they have train systems that can take you through the entire country too.
trains, cruises. Oh, wow. So what do we have for next week? No, well, not next week, 2 weeks. We're doing Japan next,
Yeah.
right?
So we're going to continue with our Asia April theme and we're going to touch on Japan, which is also larger than most people think. Um, but there's so much to do in Japan. Um, and it also includes multiple islands, just kind of like some of these other places have, excuse me, multiple islands attached to them.
Well, sounds great. Is there anything else that we should know about Vietnam? I think we mostly covered it.
Yeah, I think we covered most of it. I think the only other thing that I would add is, we were talking last time about travel vaccinations, right? And
Oh, yeah.
I was getting mine done for our trip to Fiji, and so you always want to check with your physicians, your medical providers about whether or not you need to get vaccinations for the area that you're going. But sometimes the foods, or if you're going to be in non-rural, if you're going to be out in like the rural areas, there are some things you might want to get. And you could talk to your doctors about that. But for instance, with me going to Fiji and knowing that I'm not always going to be in the city and I'm going to be out and about in rural areas, some of the villages. I'm going to get I got the typhoid vaccine so that I don't get anything from being over there and being in an area that's not, what I'm used to.
Right.
And then the other thing is that a lot of times people think there's like vaccines for mosquito illnesses, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there really aren't. You just have to pay attention to taking care of yourself and taking the repellent with you and making
Right.
sure that you stay sprayed. And in some places that people even use like netting um, around
Yeah, I've seen
themselves to
that.
help
Yeah,
protect.
that's a
Um,
good idea to have.
yeah, and our doctors even gave us a prescription that we've already picked up, but for stomach issues. So if you if you have stomach issues when you're eating in other countries, sometimes your doctors will prescribe you something to take with you so that as soon as you have something, you can take it, and then you're not completely
Yeah.
down
Make sure you
for the
bring all
rest
your
of the
medication
trip.
that you need.
Yeah. Yeah, so that just always is a good idea to check with your physicians and check out if you need anything.
Let's go these pictures again. Last one here. That is a beautiful picture. I love that. All right. I guess we're gonna end early tonight.
Yeah, we could do that. And, we can leave them with this photo right here, just imagining what it would be like to head down the Mekong Delta in a little rowboat there, enjoying the beautiful
Yeah,
surroundings. Um,
absolutely.
and if you have further questions about Vietnam, go ahead and send us a message or comment here on this video, and we will go ahead and answer them for you. And do subscribe and do share for us so that more people can see our content. And as we get ready for Japan, if you have things that you'd like to hear specifically about Japan, then you can also put those in
Yeah.
the comments below, and we'll get those ready for our
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
next live.
Yeah. And then 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Two
Yes,
weeks. That is what date is that?
that is the 30th.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
Yep,
so.
I believe it's the last day of the month.
Yep. All right, folks.
Then you got to come then to figure out what we're going to talk about in May.
Oh, yes. The was it Mediterranean in May?
Yeah, we were talking about doing
Oh, yes.
Mediterranean May.
I know I like that.
So I think that'll be a great, great topic. Lots of
Abs
people traveling to the Mediterranean.
yes, that's a big destination. Yeah, we got Greece. We have to do Greece.
For sure. Yep. All of the um uh all of the coastal regions of
Regions,
France
yeah.
and Italy and yeah.
France.
Yeah.
Oh, there's so
So
much to see in the Mediterranean.
there is for sure. And I don't know, maybe we'll even talk about some cruises through there because you only have to unpack once.
That is true. It's a big cruise destination. Big cruise destination.
For sure. Well, thank you for joining us tonight, y'all.
Yes.
And hope you enjoyed our little trip to Vietnam, and join us next time as we travel to Japan. And
Sounds
we hope you
good.
have a great 2 weeks until we see you again. And Girls Gone Global's out.
Yep. Till next time.
Bye.